Ah, hey there, everyone. Dr. Beth Westy here. I am popping on live just to go over a few things that women kind of struggle with and a few things that can be a big frustration point. One of the things that I was going to put on here, I don't know how this is going to show up, but one of the things I would love to know is how many diets you've been on in the past year. This is something that a lot of women struggle with. They struggle with their nutrition. They struggle with just staying healthy and really working with their bodies. Now, the one thing that I want to cover and talk about is, I love to talk about nutrition for women's hormones, talking about nutrition that matches your hormones in your cycle. My book, The Female Fat Solution, dives into this a ton. But the other thing, I have this as a resource. My podcast, The Female Health Solution, is a resource. And then I'm doing a webinar next Sunday that you can, sign up for. It's totally free for you to sign up for this webinar. I'm going to be diving into nutrition for menopause. And I do talk about that a little bit in this book, in my book that I should have marked the, I should have marked the page, because this is something that a lot of women struggle with. Going over nutrition for menopause next week in detail, diving in, really uncovering a lot of different things, and it's going to be amazing. So the other thing, so I have a whole chapter here in my book that I'm going to talk about a few things, and I'm doing a deep dive. So one of the things women struggle with is that they don't understand that, your body has a whole new, set of things to deal with. When you go through perimenopause, you're figuring things out, and by the time you get to menopause, your body needs different things nutritionally. Your body's at a different point. It's at age 35 for women that your bone density peaks. Yeah. So all of these things that they target older women for, bone density, all these other things, you're basically maintaining your bone density at that point, or you're hoping to maintain as much as possible. Because beyond 35, that's when your bone density maxes out. The body literally doesn't build that much more bone density up, and it's really tough to do that. So think about that. Your body shifts in how it's creating, how it's working, and how it functions, after 35, right? So all these things shift and change in the female body. Which, if you think about it and you've been struggling with this, you're like, yeah, that kind of makes sense, right? So your digestive system changes. How your body uses your muscle tissue for energy, everything else. I'm going to go into this in detail because it takes more protein to do the same job that protein used to do for you before you hit menopause. Most women don't know that. They don't understand. I need more protein. Yeah, protein pacing, all that other stuff, that's great. But what the protein is doing for your system is it's helping to build and maintain that lean muscle. And it's so much harder to build when your body's been in menopause. So a lot of women, they go through these hormonal changes. They go through these big things. And what they struggle with is they're thinking, I am tired. I don't have the energy I used to. I can't physically keep up anymore. And they're thinking, I put on this weight, right? I had hormonal changes. I put on this weight. If I take this weight off, then I'll feel good. If I take this weight off, I'll have more energy. If I take this weight off, then all these other things happen. And in reality, the target focus to have, to make at first is really focusing on, oh my gosh, you need to really do things to move your health forward first. You need to get more energy by eating more protein. You need to get more energy, and feel better by shifting your nutrition and matching it with your hormones and cycle. And if you're not focusing on that, you're missing out on that huge piece. And it's those things. Once you have more energy, once you're supporting your muscle tissue to help you get into a fat burning zone, then the weight comes off and it can stay off easily. But most women do it the other way around, right? You're approaching it from the wrong angle, which is why women get so frustrated. So, I asked this question, how many diets have you been on in the past year? And a lot of women will say one or two, but there's some women who've been on like 4 or more diets. That's a lot, right? That's kind of out there. And it's not because, you're messing up all the time. It's because the system that you're trying to use is not a system that's meant for your body. You're not really working with your body. You're kind of fighting against it. But once you start shifting how you approach your nutrition for your body and your health, it's amazing the difference that happens. So, so when we talk about some of these things, I like to go over this. A lot of women, when they go through menopause, they're focused on weight, but energy and everything else changes so much. And when your progesterone drops down, and when your estrogen drops down, that changes how you store nutrient in your muscle tissue for energy, stamina, everything else. So there's different, nutritional considerations I talk about in the book as well. Different physical and mental energy that you're going to need, tolerance for exercise, and then different fat loss strategies. So the fat loss strategies, I detail out a little bit here, but I'm actually going to be diving into that specifically in this webinar. I'm going to be talking about using your hormones, how to intermittent fast for women in menopause. And I'll be doing a little video this week too, and talking about, hey, here's how you can, approach intermittent fasting for women in menopause. But if you really want the deep dive, if you really want a ton of information on it, that's going to be in the webinar. How to really get to a fat burning zone, intermittent fast for women in menopause, and all these other details for menopause and hormone changes. So it's one of those things that can be super frustrating. I totally get it, but we're going to go through it in detail because I do have some information in my book. I do have some information in my podcast, The Female Health Solution. But I found that when women are able to, really do this concentrated deep dive, and then you're able to ask questions, and I can answer any of those questions at the end, you're going to learn so much and be able to shift your results really, really quickly, much faster than you have before. And when somebody asks you how many diets you've been on in the past year, you're going to be like, none. I don't need to go on diets anymore, because I'm just able to control my hormones and stay ahead of that and really push my metabolism all the time and be at your goals and keep that result, because you're working with your new body that you have when you've gone through menopause. So that's what I've got for you guys today. So you can click the link, you can enroll for that webinar. If you know somebody that could use this information too, please share this with them, because so many women struggle and so many women need help in this arena, and they try so many different things and they're ending up just frustrated, stuck, and not knowing where to turn. So that's what I got for you guys tonight. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you later.